What's going on, guys? My name's Dean, or as most of you know me, Twisty. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Ashes cricket. I'm fresh out of PAX yesterday, so I may be a little bit sick with, you always seem to get sick after these things, but I feel reasonably okay. Anyway, let's get into Ashes cricket. There's no audio for the gameplay because I did use a camera in front of the screen. The game was being played in 4K on the Xbox One X for reference, as well as with HDR in there as well. I couldn't record 4K because I don't have the type of capture card that can do that. I think there's only one that's out at the moment, and you need a big PC rig to hook it up to. So basically here we are looking at Ashes cricket. I tried not to skip as much as possible. I realized the camera's on a bit of an angle. I do try and fix it up a little bit in about 20 or 30 seconds here, and I got some notes I kind of want to go through about my first thought of the game. I played about 20 minutes before this sort of little session and decided I would capture about three overs of batting, 3 overs of bowling, and there we go, move the camera now. But there is no audio because obviously it's just show floor noise and a lot of randomness that is going on. So it's just really loud static in the background. So I can't give you any thoughts on the commentary or anything like that. But let's go through sort of the new controls, which is probably what you'll notice straight away, and how that sort of plays into effect. So let's go with just a handy little overthrow boundary here. So let's first of all go with those new controls, and I think these are good in the sense that it's going to bring a lot of new players to the game. I think previously the 2-stick action meant that unless you were a really like hardcore dedicated fan of cricket or cricket games, you weren't going to appreciate the effort you needed to put in to play the game. And I feel like at least with this new control scheme, it takes it a little bit a more basic approach and allows new players to come in and pick up whatever is being thrown out. So basically how they work is, as you can see, I'm spinning the sort of aim stick around, which is your left stick. In the top right hand corner you can see me moving around as to where I would like to hit the ball. And then in that top right hand corner you can actually see the 4 different options of shots that you want to do. These can also be modified as well by using the bumper buttons. I think it's R1 is for like an unorthodox shot, or maybe to charge down the pitch. Don't quote me on this because I don't know what they are, but I think I might actually show the controls a little bit later on. But as you can see, Y or triangle on the PlayStation is a defensive shot, B is sort of a lofted aggressive shot, A is sort of your normal standard attacking shot, but it's going to go across the ground, and then X is that X or square is going to be that precision shot that when you try and really place the ball. Now you can actually go back to the old controls if you really wanted to. Not quite sure how they work. I would assume it's very similar to how they worked in previous games, but let's go through and talk about the UI elements as well. Apologies with some of the quality like this, because the lighting in the building was really bad, and then it's obviously the light off the TV didn't reflect very well. Anyway, let's talk about the UI elements. Obviously it looks really nice and clean. Down the bottom of the screen you can actually see the batsman you use, their timing and shot choice and footwork comes up with that one. And I think the footwork side of things would be impacted by the direction of the shot you are hitting. So I feel like that's probably a much easier option for people to pick up and play, and then your footwork would be sort of moderately automated when you're playing with the face buttons. And once you go to probably the more advanced controls of the newer of the previous Don Bradman games, then that footwork would become more relevant to how your skill level is. Okay, and I think that would be, depending on where you're hitting the ball, your footwork would be there. Obviously I'm hitting a drive, the ball's a reasonably foolish thing, so the footwork's going to be fairly good. Okay, let's keep going at that UI down the bottom there. You can see underneath, oh, here am I looking at things. Oh yes, I was changing up my batting order because I wanted to get Glenn Maxwell in or Steve Smith, someone who had done mocap for the game. So I was like, alright, I needed them in next. And so I'm trying to get myself out the next couple of deliveries. You may notice, just try and hit a shot. But that's a splendid looking cover drive. I think I'm playing on either easy or medium for reference as well. And I really like some of these new replay cameras. Either it's the replay camera that looks different, or just the game looks a lot smoother, and because of the new animations and whatever, it just looks a lot nicer. Now, the color of the bar underneath the player's name is their confidence meter. So obviously, if it's red, they're low on confidence. If it's orange, you know, they're getting there. I think yellow, and then eventually green would mean when they're, you know, pretty confident with how they're going. Then you can actually see it's sort of slightly lower there for Aaron Finch, and that's the stamina bar. So all of that is now compacted into this one simple little setup where you can easily tell how confident your player is and how much stamina they have remaining, rather than needing to go into any sort of other menu. And that's the exact same thing for the bowler. As you can see there, Wood, low on confidence, but has a ton of stamina. And here we go, get myself out here nicely. You can see big old Ross giving me the finger in just a moment here as the umpire, or does it not do that? Did I skip that somehow? Where is he? No, we didn't see the Ross give the finger, okay. But yeah, even that shot looked so nice. I know it got me out, which was my intention, of course, but it did look really nice. I was really happy that I then got Glenn Maxwell in, someone who has done mocap for the game, so I wanted to test it out, and I just want to have a look at the, you know, the replay screen again here, because I do like to go through the replays quite a lot when I am playing, just to see if there's any difference here, and because it was such a really nice shot, I wanted to have a look at it and how it looks. So just bang, just that beautiful little drive, just whack. It was reasonably nice. I was very happy with how it was, is my point. Just a big stand and deliver shot. Looking very, very nice there. At the MCG as well. Just if you didn't notice that one. We are playing a one-day game here. Just because I wanted it to look reasonably nice. Oh, jeez. Short ball. Should have done a little better there. Alright, so I'm waiting to see how long it takes me to get a decent shot off with Maxwell. I think I hit a nice on drive here, just a little bit of a down the ground, cleanish shot. There's a really nice cover drive I do coming up very soon. There's Ross, there he is with the big for the boundary. By the way, I didn't want to cut this together because I wanted you guys to see as raw as possible the game itself, because I know that, you know, when I do cut together these sort of pre-release games, people are like, hey, why did you edit this? I wanted to see this. And I also try not to skip things as much as possible. See how I cut it there? See how you didn't even notice that? No, I totally cut it just because my controller disconnected, and it was like 10 seconds of me reconnecting the controller. So seriously, come on. Get a grab. Get a grab. But here I actually go through to look at the controls. If you really wanted to like pause it and do it on whatever individual thing, that's fine. As you can see down the bottom, it actually says view standard controls, which are the new ones, or you can go view classic controls, which are the old ones. Okay, so here's the cover drive coming up. Very nice, very Maxwell shot. Do you not appreciate the Glenn Maxwell shot there? And I think this is really where the mocap comes into play. Another couple of things I wrote down is that there are 32 Australian men in the game in terms of how many face scan players there are, because I wanted to ask this question if there was any domestic level players. So there are like a few obviously within the Australian squad. So there's 32 Australian faced scanned players into the game. There is 28 English face scanned male players, I think. And then for the women, it's obviously less than that. I'm not quite sure on exact numbers, but I do know that it's less than 20, I think, for both. So there are still, you know, probably around about 100 players across both the England and Australia in the men's and the women's side of things. Okay. So now let's talk about the bowling, because obviously we've switched over from the batting to the bowling. The bowling is very similar to how it was in the previous games, just instead of using the flick stick with the right analog stick to go down and then up, you're basically just pressing the button twice. It's much simpler. You can revert to the old bowling controls as well if you would like. There's some slightly different ways of how it gets modified. Obviously the ideal one is actually the lightest green there, so it is the furthest one towards the edge, is the best possible timing for those things. Okay. Now one of the other things that I noticed is that that's a nice shot. The reflex catches and fielding things has been brought back in on a more, it's going to happen more often. Because with Don Bradman 17, I felt like the reflex captures didn't happen all that much after the first sort of patch, whereas the first patch, it was very there. It was always there. A lot of times, if you're a spin bowler, you would have almost one every other over. So the reflex catches and fielding has been brought back in for both the bowler and in the sort of infield, which is where it was last time at the beginning, and then it sort of got phased out a little bit. But we got some Hazelwood bowling here. That was a terrible delivery from me. Now, when you are running into bowl as well, there's one other thing I should note. You should be able to see a little indicator for my line where in that bottom right hand corner, and that is like this little dot where your left analog stick is aiming. So obviously you pick the length with the face button, and then you pick the line with how you are obviously pushing the ball. Here's a perfect example of the reflex fielding I was talking about. I pressed the A button a little bit too quickly there, so I missed out on the actual fielding. But yeah, the line selection is there. There's obviously some variation in things. I wanted to bowl a spinner, so I was like, go with Maxwell. I did do some Nathan Lyon as well a bit beforehand when we were using the test match lineups, but again, didn't record any of that. And I have been informed that when playing with Nathan Lyon and Matthew Wade is behind the stumps, you can hear a nice Gary. So get excited, because there is going to be so many nice Garys. I mean, I don't know which ones exactly there are going to be, if they're taken straight from a match or if he has recorded extra ones, but I'm pretty sure they're just taken straight from stump cam audio, which would be fantastic. So get ready for nice Garys to just be all over the shop, because there's going to be a lot of nice Garys, I reckon, just going on. I feel like the first day, everyone's gameplay video is just going to be titled Nice Gary. Okay? And for the reference, again, I'm still playing on medium difficulty here, so I'm pretty bad at actually getting a wicket. Whack. Look at that, just straight down the ground. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright, let's get Maxwell on here, looking very schmick there with his hair. Let's go with a bit of an off-spin delivery. Now, you don't actually put in the amount of spin either this time around. You just sort of pick your line. I think you can use the classic controls as well. There was actually a tipped screen earlier on that did say you can use the classic controls, and the spin amount still works exactly how it does there. So you can totally use that if you wanted to. You don't have to if you don't want to. But this is sort of the last over of gameplay I took. I decided to take 3 overs of bowling, 3 overs of batting, try to get a little bit of variation in how I was doing each different thing. So feel free to let me know in the comments down below what you guys are thinking. Again, I would have liked to capture it proper gameplay, but the game's only 16, 17 days away. It's not that far. It's coming out on the 16th of November, and it's currently the 30th of October, so it's not that far away. And hopefully we'll be getting some more things soon. Who knows? whether the game breaks street date or whatever, these things happen, don't they? Or at least people try to make them happen. Who knows? But again, I'm liking how it is playing so far. I think it's really smooth. I feel like it's really responsive controls. And I'm very excited to see how this goes. Oh, that was a nice ball. Very nice ball. Not a nice Gary. But that will do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your comments down below. And I'll see you all later. Goodbye.